I think I'm live now. We are ready to start. It is Tuesday. I am Adama Hamadi, your career clarity coach and life design specialist at dreamleaplive.com. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is going to be a little bit different than most live days, but it is going to be very similar to what happened last week. I am going to be chatting, talking shit, really, and interviewing a former client. Well, actually, she is technically still a client of mine. She's going to move into another level of coaching with me, but she is closing out her Decide to Succeed coaching program with me, the 90-day program, and she's going to be joining in a couple seconds. Oh, actually joining right now. I am very excited to get this chance to talk to her, to show her off to the world, and to show the world what she is up to. Hi, my gorgeous.
Hi, how's it going?
Girl, it's going well. It's going well. Come on, twist.
I said it's time to get some twists.
Give it to us with a twist, Alisha. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I was just talking shit and introducing the topic today. So as I was saying, today I'm introducing you to Miss Alisha, the unapologetically curvy fitness coach, honey, mamapreneur of 4, badass corporate employee shifter. I want to give her an opportunity to talk about herself, to share what she's been up to in the world, and then want to talk a little bit about our experience working together. And if there's time, I'm either going to put her on the spot for some laser coaching, or I'm going to open it up for Q&A. So I know that whatever needs to come through is going to come through. But if anything else pops up, I'm here for the tangents. I'm here for wherever this goes organically. How you feeling, boo?
I'm good. I'm excited.
Yes, come on. Glow and twists are giving me all of the life. I'm really enjoying this. All right, family. So I would love for you to start by just telling us a little bit about who you are as a person, as an entrepreneur, and what you're up to in the world.
So I am one that's always been dedicated and always been a go-getter and a self-starter. And but that can kind of throw you off a little bit when you're always thinking that you have it all together and you have to have everything together, right? But yeah, like you said, I'm a mom of 4 amazing babies. But then also I have my corporate job. I'm a project manager. I have an event venue. And then I decided, you know what? I got healthy. This worked for me. I need to help my other sister queens out and help them realize you don't have to be skinny. Life is not about being skinny. It's not even about dieting. It's all about having a balance and being happy with who you are, embracing those curves, embracing your body, and just learning to keep your heart and your temple healthy and happy. That's the goal. Not dieting, but just being happy with who you are. And so that got me so passionate about it that it was just like, how do I now take this endeavor, this new endeavor that I never thought would cross my path, and run with it along with everything else that I have going on and all of these other goals that I have going on. And that's kind of where it got me, in a sense, stuck, because I had I'm like feeling like I'm going in all of these different directions, trying to figure out how do I have this path that doesn't make me feel so stretched.
Mm.
Yeah.
So while you were asking yourself all these questions and making sense of this new career path that you're on, a clear calling that was beckoning to you, how did you decide that you were not willing to do this alone? What made you decide to reach out for a coach?
So here's the thing, that's the part that's crazy for me. And that's the thing, how, everything is always working out for my good. I always say that because I was just at this moment where I was stuck, and I'm telling you, meditation is my jam. And so that is a lot of what I did, is just meditating and trying to seek direction. And my sissy, Michelle, she was like, Sissy, you gotta watch this live. And it was with, I think, Nikki. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I watched it. And I didn't even get to watch the whole hour. I watched a good maybe 10 minutes of it, got busy, and had to kind of go with the rest of my day. But you kept coming to mind. And I'm like, who is this woman? So I reached out to my sissy, and I'm like, okay, sissy, who is this? Because she keeps coming to mind. So if she keeps coming to mind, there's a reason. And that's when she career clarity coach. And I was like, well, look at God. Like, it was just, it kind of fell in my lap in a sense. And I'm that type of person where there are no coincidences ever. And so I had gotten to the point where I'm like, all right, I need her information. I need to reach out. I need to figure out what's my next steps. And that's kind of how it all got started.
Love that. Rashida said the Adama effect. I'm here for it. Can we
I'm telling
trademark that?
you, man, I was like, she touched me over the just 5, 15, 10 minutes like that. Yeah, that was some serious stuff for me.
Wow. So, I mean, I'm just curious. What did you hear or receive in the live that made you decide you were ready for your next step?
It was your energy. It was just, you have this confidence. There's this something about you that just kind of, yes, that for whatever reason, it just drew me to you. And like I said, there was nothing, I had no idea who you were. That was the crazy part. I didn't realize you were a career clarity coach. It was just something about your energy and your spirit that I felt like there was a connection. And because you kept coming to mind, it was like, okay, I have to figure out what it is about her. And then when we had our hour kind of session, I was like, oh yeah, after that hour, within the first 10 minutes, when you almost had me crying just off of the, I was like, oh yeah, this is something that I'm going to pursue. And for me, price was not going to be an issue because I'm the type of person where this is something that I need. I'm going to figure out how to make it happen. I've always been. And so it was like, I already knew it before you even gave me the price or anything like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sold. I'm a some way.
I also would like to highlight that you paid in full without blinking. You did not think about it, did not register to you that this was premium pricing. You didn't seem nervous or there was no question about it. So I just really want to highlight when I hear women say things like, well, coaching is a luxury and I don't know if I can afford it. And especially when I hear women say that Black women don't invest in personal development, it really hurts my heart. It's absolutely not true. And I knew that already, but the quickness with which you said, here's my card, was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there's that. Thank you for the confirmation.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from the fact that you're a go-getter. I think that comes from the fact that you're very committed to getting what you want. So, of course, it was synchronicity that you wanted to join a program called Decide to Succeed because you had already decided to have what you want, no matter what.
Right. And so, I value me. I know my worth. And I think for me, because I was like, I'm worth this, it wasn't that. I think that's another reason why I was just like, okay, because I'm like, I know that I needed this to get to the next level. And when you think about all the little insignificant things that you buy over the year that could have added up to what it's like, it just, for me, it was a no brainer. So that's like I said, I know my worth. I know I'm worth it. And I know I'm going to get out of it what I need. And because I already knew that, like I said, price just wasn't going to be, it was not going to be a stumbling block for me.
I love that. I love just like the certainty in your voice. You were so clear. You had so much conviction. Beautiful. So talk to me, speaking of getting what you need, what was it exactly that you knew you needed or that you hoped to gain from Decide to Succeed program?
Just like I was saying, where I was being stretched in like all of these different directions and I had all of these goals and all of these aspirations, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to focus on. And so I was just like, I am not going to allow myself to sit in this position. Something's got to change. And so, like I said, it's just like everything aligned to where you cross my path right at that moment when I'm like, something's got to give because failure is not an option for me. And it was just like, so what is it that I need to do in order to get to the next step? And that's the one thing I love is that not only did you help me kind of take a step back and make that plan and that path, but just by the questions that you asked me helped me to realize, like, I'm saying I want this and I'm saying I want that, but those two things are contradicting each other. And so it helped me to realize, like, hold up. Not want all of this extra stuff, or I may need to be involved in it, but that doesn't mean, so you know what I mean? So it just helped me to realize and be more clear on what it is I really want and gave myself the permission to say, this no longer aligns with what I truly want. And it's okay for me to say, I'm no longer going to do that because I want my time freedom. I want my time with my family and my loved ones. That is more important than all of this other stuff that it's not weighing evenly.
Mm, I love that so much. So I really would like to just showcase for a second, like, what are some of either the tangible results that you've created or some of the things that you're able to do, have, and enjoy as a result of the work we've done together?
So I love the exercise that you had me do because, I was telling you my 50 list, my 50 goals. And the exercise where you said, close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, is this fun or forced? That right there really kind of set the path for me to be like, okay, there is something that is no longer aligning. There is something that I need to do to realize. And it was like the more I did it, I didn't even have to do the hand over the heart. It was like, nope, nope, nope. You know what I mean? So it was just like little things like that kind of helped me get to that point to where it, I don't want to say programming, but it just helped me to take that one simple thing and add it and apply it to every other part of my life to be like, is this fun or forced? And so, and again, like I said, giving myself permission because I was very rigid and I set these goals, and because I set them, I'm going to make sure that they get accomplished, not giving myself the flexibility and the permission to say, this may no longer align with my goals. I'm allowed to make those changes if I want to.
Mm. I've heard you say one of my favorite words, alignment, and I would love for you to break down what your understanding of alignment is and how do you know that you are in alignment.
For me, just it kind of goes back to that fun or forced. It's like if I don't wake up, and prime example, when you asked me that one time, because I have that goal about the housing, right? And when you were kind of asking me, so, is this something that you want to kind of push to the side? And I immediately was like, no. It was like there was no question, there was no hesitation. And so for me, that helps me to realize I'm aligned there. That is something that, there's no question. That is what I'm supposed to do. Not necessarily right now, but that is
Mm.
that I can work towards and not overwhelm myself trying to make all of this stuff happen all at the same time, kind of spreading things out and keeping my whole centering kind of where it needs to be. So I'm not, again, overwhelmed and stretched in all these different directions.
Yes, I love that. I love the word alignment. I know it's a very it's a buzzword in our circles. It gets thrown around all the time. Alignment, alignment, alignment.
Yeah,
And I think it's easy to get lost in it, but I love the way you broke that down. When you recognize the easy no-brainer yeses versus the hell no's, that is a sign that you're in alignment.
exactly.
When you know what absolutely is for you and what absolutely is a distraction, you can be sure that you're in alignment. Um, I love that. I love that. I also heard you hint at one of your goals. Did you want to share that out loud, the housing goal? Did you want to share what you are up to, or do you want to save that for a little bit later?
Oh, I don't mind sharing. So if you
Because this
ladies,
goal really inspires me. So I do want the
yeah,
world to hear about it. And it's also secret accountability.
right. So again, I'm a go-getter. I am one that is all about outreach and community and making sure that we take care of each other. It's like we had that tribe back in the day. And as time went on, it was this whole, I'm about me and I got to take care of me and everybody else got to fall by the wayside. And it's like, no, we gotta look out for each other now more than ever. And so one of my goals was to create housing, like an apartment housing type of deal, but they have to be in this program. So I'm still trying to figure out if I'm allowed to do it this way, but they have to agree to a program so that they are only there between 2 to 4 years while they either get a trade, go back to school, but then they also have to learn about finances. They have to learn about self-care and loving themselves. There's all of these things they're going to have to be responsible for to say, yes, I am willing to go through this program. And if I don't complete it, or if I fall off, then I'm getting booted. I'm getting evicted because this needs to be for people who are seriously like, I want my life to change. And so by the time that they leave the apartment complex, they will no longer need low housing income because they have gotten themselves in a position where they have a trade, they're educated, they're an entrepreneur, whatever it is that they want to do, they have the resources to attain those goals and succeed. Because it's like so many of us, all of us have a gift. It's just we don't know how to find it, or we're in these situations where we feel like this is the best that I can get. And it's like, no, the sky is the limit. And you just need somebody to show you and to help you get there. And then it's like, and once your eyes are open, you're like, wow, yeah, I can do whatever I want. But it's just so many people are just in this, what I call limiting belief or mind prison, that they don't realize how valuable and how important and how special they are. So
Yeah.
that is just so near and dear to my heart that I'm like, it's going to happen. It's just all about God's timing.
Y'all heard it here first. It's going to happen. When you hear about this housing program that comes up, built by a Black woman with a very solid why and passion for her dream, please know y'all heard it here first. Now, I have a special place in my heart for your idea because for how many years? For 4 years, I was a case manager for a transitional housing program for young adults.
Why did I not know that?
I made sure not to share it with you too early because I didn't want to project onto you, and I didn't want you to feel like I was forcing you to move toward this goal just because I cared about it. So, yeah, for 4 years, I was a case manager for unstably housed youth in DC. And I have a real soft spot for opportunities afforded to people who are, one really shitty circumstance away from being on the street. One shitty circumstance. And I just really appreciated the opportunity to remind them that, like, this isn't the end for you. You know what I'm saying? To remind them we have options, we have resources. Like, you can be taught independent living skills, you can be taught employability, and all that shit can come up. But it just makes me so happy that this is something that's so near and dear to your heart. And thank you for even allowing me to share that. I didn't even want to take away from you, but it just means so much to me that, like, of course we have this, like, synchronicity because, yeah.
I'm like, well, another confirmation. Yeah.
Of course I attract big-hearted, aspiring change makers because, of course, like, why wouldn't I? Right. So, yeah, I got carried away, but thank you for holding space for that as I flesh through that. So, I guess what I'm wondering, okay, no, we're going to get into it. So, I know that a really big part of my work that I do as a coach is helping women unlearn, rewire, and reframe, right? So I would love if you could share with the people, what are some things that you had to unlearn, and what are new narratives that you're living into now as a result of our work together?
So the biggest one for me was I did not think that I could have achieve the goals, and have the balance of family. I always thought it's an either or situation. And immediately you helped me to see just by asking the right questions. And that's what I said. I'm like, you know how to ask the right questions and not suggest. That's the other thing. You didn't suggest anything ever. You would ask the right questions to get me to do that own mental thinking, to prepare me to do it when, I can't have you anymore. But for me, it was realizing that stemmed from my childhood, because my dad, while he is very successful in his business, he never made, like, there was no time for me. And I didn't realize, like, I had forgiven him and I did the work, but I didn't realize that I was still holding on to that limiting belief. I didn't realize that had me thinking that there's not a way to have both. It's either or. So, what helped me to kind of release that is telling myself, I'm a perfect mix of my mom and my dad, the drive from my dad, but just the big heart from my mom. And so instead of focusing on the things that my dad didn't do for me, I focus more on what he passed down to me without even realizing it, because I have drive, and my mom has drive as well, but just that entrepreneurial mindset that truly came from my dad. And so I appreciate him for what he gave me instead of focusing on what he didn't.
That limiting belief is so common. It is so, so common among women, and especially among Black women. It comes up so often of, I can either have career success or I can build the family structure that I want. And women hold on to this as if it is the only truth, as if it is the only possibility. And I honestly believe we can have anything we want if we are willing to see things differently and have hard conversations.
Right.
So your willingness to extricate those two, your willingness to decide that you get to have the family you want and the career success was like a mind blower for you.
Yeah.
But what were some examples of some of the conversations that you had to have in order to make this new narrative make sense for your life?
I had to tell myself that I am able to be there for my children, that I am a good mom, because that was the one thing, one of the questions you had asked me, like, what would be something that somebody said to you that would like rub you the wrong way? And that was one of them, that I'm not a good mom. And it's because, that was always one of my fears, is not being there for my kids the way my dad wasn't there for me. But I had to just remind myself that, all things are working out for my good. Um, I deserve the happiness. I can have both. There's no reason why I can't have both and
Mhm.
succeed as a mom, as well as all my endeavors I have, and just constantly telling myself. So I have an affirmation, I show, my little affirmation right next to my bed, so that I look at that every day. And if I'm having a moment, then I go back up there in my and I look at it to help keep me grounded and to remind me, because sometimes it's easy to have that in your mind when everything is going well, right?
Yes.
But sometimes you need that reminder. So it's just like, okay, I need to take myself to my quiet place and get reminded of, yes, you can do this. God makes no mistakes. You got this. Keep on going. Take time for yourself and allow, because for me, I would always like sweep stuff under the rug. I wouldn't like allow myself to feel and to deal with whatever was going on. And so giving myself that time just really helped to kind of, like you said, erase those little scripts that kind of kept me stagnant at times.
Mm. And will you speak a little bit more to why you felt the need to intentionally design or carve out a space in your room for that?
It's like, for me, there's always something going on. And so being in that peace and that quiet and that stillness, it just helps me to kind of bring myself back, without, because I can talk myself into a rabbit hole. I can analyze and get into my own little tailspin, and it's not conducive to anything. So taking myself to a moment of quiet and just kind of getting myself back, and then kind of referring to my affirmations, it's just a great way for me to kind of center myself again and get myself balanced.
Mm. And why do you think that affirmations are effective? Because I know there's a lot of contention about whether they work or what's the point. What is your take on why affirmations are effective?
For me, it's a way to remind yourself, because when you're going through all of this turmoil in your mind, it's like all you're doing is focusing on the negative. There's no room for you to, and I don't have a dama to just call whenever I want to. So it's like, have a way to say, how can I bring myself back? And that's a way for me to take myself out of over analyzing and saying, okay, and reminding myself, because for me, some of these affirmations, it's like they're second nature. But again, sometimes when you're in that midst of something, it's hard, challenging for you to take yourself out. So going in my quiet place and looking at it, it just helps to reaffirm and get me back to the point to where it's like, okay, Lish, you got this.
Yes.
This is the moment. Let it pass, but keep on moving. Don't let this stop you.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So, what is one resource, tool, or takeaway that you found especially valuable from the Decide to Succeed program?
So, like right before I meditate, that God, angels, ancestors, Alisha 3.0, and to speak what your intentions are, and to say, I am willing to do the work. I'm willing to do my part. I am willing to be supported. What would you have me to do? That right there. And then just journaling. I have had so much revealed to me just by being quiet, looking for direction, and then writing it down, not questioning, because there's some stuff where I'm like, what? And I write it down and I journal it to say, I don't know what this means, but I know it'll be revealed to me eventually. Like that alone has just been a game changer for me.
Mm. Come on, game changer. Here
Yeah.
for it. So, like, what do you think is most different about you? What would you say? Let me reword that question. What is Rashida saying? Yep, because I just taught her that exercise as well. So, what is the one thing that you would say people that know you the most have noticed is different about you?
My ability to handle challenging situations. Because
Ooh.
I'm the type that I sometimes shut down. I either get really quiet or I wouldn't allow myself to feel the emotions. I was, that type of person. My mom is a strong woman and I hardly ever saw her cry. And she never made me feel like that I couldn't cry.
Mm.
But seeing that strength, and I think a lot of us see that, right? We see that strength in our moms and it's like, and so we pick up on it. And
The
so
strong Black woman.
exactly. And not so I grew up feeling like being vulnerable was weak when it is such the opposite. It is so strong and it's so empowering. And so for me, some of the scares that I had just over the last couple of weeks with my mom and my aunt, I would have been the one that would have kept moving and kept busy and would not have allowed myself to deal with the emotions, which is not healthy for your body, right? But I allowed myself to feel whatever I needed to feel. I allowed myself to cry. And I was like, wait a minute, God, now my mama's supposed to be here for another 50 years. Like I would even crack a joke in the midst of it. And I'm still crying, right? I'm still bawling. But being able to go to God and talk to him and say, this is how I'm feeling and allow myself to feel it. That has been the biggest thing that I think people have noticed is that me just being open with allowing to feel my feelings without having this, I got to be strong all the time.
Mm. And releasing the need to be superwoman, what has that made possible for you?
Man, not just having this weight on my shoulders, not feeling like I got to have all the answers. And, it's just, I feel so much more free. I try to let go and not feel like I got to hold on and be in control of everything because I'm not, there's only so much that I can control, but just trusting enough to let go and say, regardless of what's going to happen, regardless of how scary this is, I'm going to bounce back. I am going
Mm.
to live. I'm going to survive. It may not be easy, but it's going to make me stronger at the end of the day. And keeping myself reminded of that has just been something that's allowed me to say, okay, I got this. I have survived other situations. I'm going to survive this one too.
Mm. Love, 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 love. So, thinking now about our dynamic and the way I approach you. How would you describe my coaching style to someone that is very new to the experience?
I think I a little bit, but like you keep digging. And even the homework, I'm like, oh, wait. Like the one where it was like I had to write 50, something to 50. And I was like, did she mean 15? Like, I know she didn't say 50. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was like you get pushed um, and you dig. And it's like when you feel like, because like I know there was a situation where you're like, okay, we're gonna keep peeling back this onion because I feel like there's more. So it was like you kept pulling that onion, you kept peeling until I got to the root cause. And I mean, there were so many times when I was like, wow, like, but it was because you kept digging. So when you didn't
Mm.
take the surface level answer, you're like, no, there's more to it. There's more to it. Let's keep going. And that is something that I appreciate the most is that you weren't going to allow me just to get, just give you some foo-foo answer. That just wasn't going to be okay. And that's what
Listen, I don't do small talk and I don't do surface level. And
right.
you did not invest, especially at the price that you paid in full, you did not invest to stay comfortable and you did not invest to stay at surface level. So I was like, we digging because you cannot afford to stay at a plateau. You have purpose work to do. You have really important things to be doing. And it's difficult to own that or to do any of that when you're stuck here.
Right.
So I appreciate you staying open because I'm not for the faint of heart. I'm not
Right.
for the squeamish. I'm not for the people that want to stay comfortable and want to be coddled. That's not my style at all. But I appreciate that even though you are so sweet and you are so like patient and ready, and I'm not those things a lot of the time, but I do appreciate that you stayed open and you rocked with me, and now look what we've been able to create because of this. So I very much appreciate you for that. So what is something that you are really proud of right now that you want to show off about? I know I like to make moments to offer acknowledgments in the coaching sessions, and now would be a time to take that a step further. What are you really proud of? What do you want to show off about? What do you want to share with the world?
I'm just proud of the fact that I can say that I can have anything I want, that I am no longer afraid of failure. I am no longer, I just, I feel like this the sky's the limit. And there was a point, like I said, because I felt like there was only so much that I was going to be able to accomplish, being able to say, no, I have a purpose in this world. And I know that what worked for me health wise will work for everyone else. And you will be ready at some point. And maybe I'm not the one for you. And that is totally okay, because there are certain women that I am attracted to, that I will attract to me. And so it's okay if, because the same thing kind of with you, not everyone finds the value in being healthy. And I always say, you either going to invest in yourself now, or you want to invest in them doctors and them hospitals later. It's your choice. And
Come
so,
on,
yeah, so for me, it's
go
just
ahead
like,
and drag me a little bit. Go ahead and drag me.
so for me, I'm sitting here like, I have a solution, and it's not dieting. It's, it's something to make you learn to love yourself and to not become just physically fit, but mentally fit as well, because there is so much into your mental state. So it's like life is not about a quick fix. It's about learning to love yourself and learning to grow and to develop and to get out of your comfort zone. Because as long as you want to sit in this little comfort zone, you're just going to sit there and you're going to be unhappy until you're ready to say, I am worth more than just this. I am worth
Mm,
healthy life, a happy life. And it's like, and so many people feel like, well, I don't want to, and that's perfectly fine, but it's just like, I guess I've gotten to the point to where I know what I am worth and I know what I bring to the table, and it's either
mm,
you jump in or you keep moving, and either way, I'm rooting for you. But just know that I am here to help you get to that next level. You just got to want it, and you got to find the value and realize that you're worth it. You're worth the investment.
yes,
It's just are you willing to step up and do it?
yes, yes. So speaking of investments and being willing to step up and do it, what opportunities do you have available now for people to work with you, and how can they jump on and take advantage of the opportunity?
So it's really simple. It's like I combine nutrition and fitness and support. It's that easy. For me, what I realized, and I made so many new connections and friendships, just because it's like a lot of times you need that accountability, you need that support, you need somebody to say you got this, or you need somebody to be like, all right, my sis worked out. I didn't feel like it, but she didn't show me she worked out, so I'm gonna get my butt up. Sometimes you need that. But you also sometimes need that push to be like, all right, you saying the same stuff over and over again. Do you really want it or not? So
Mm, yes.
it's like, but combining all of that together and giving you the love and support that you need, in addition to helping you with personal development, because that's the one part, like you said, a lot of Black women are like, what? Even me, I was like, what is this? But the more I read, that's how I healed. And that's what I love, is that there's this whole kind of situation of learning to love yourself and getting your mental mindset together while getting your physical body, your temple. So it's like you're working on yourself, mind, body, and soul. That's
Mm,
kind of how I look at it. And so having all of that combined is truly what helps you become successful. Again, it's just all about, do you want it? Are you ready to be challenged, to be pushed, and to do the work? It's all about
mm.
to do the work.
Yes. So for someone that says they are ready, like I love Alisha's energy, I'm ready, I want this whole mind, body, spirit, holistic situation. What do they need to do right now to jump on the opportunity?
All they got to do is send me a little inbox message. Um, we'll have a chat. Because here's the thing, we may not be the perfect fit, right? And that's okay. But I want to know about your journey. I'm not about, okay, let me get you signed up and let's get going. No, help me understand your journey. Help me understand what your goals are. Help me understand what got you to where you are so I can help you get to the next step. It's all about together and me being that support, but it's like I need to understand where you are, where you were, and where you want to go. And it's all about linking arms and working on it together, and me just being your accountability, your support, and then being in a group of other women who have the same goals as you do, and just getting that love and that support to get you where you want to go. That's it.
Love. Love. I hope y'all have been paying attention. Alisha is not here to play. So if you are looking for your curve friendly fitness coaching,
Yes.
someone that's not going to tell you what you need to lose, but rather how you need to embrace who you are and step into your next level of health, she might be a great move for you.
Yes.
So, what is a question I didn't ask that you wish I had? And then I'm gonna have you answer it.
I don't even think there was a question that you didn't ask because you are thorough. You are thorough. I can't think of one.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
I received that. I received that. Um, what is a question that you wish more people would ask you? Something that you want to be able to talk about.
I think a lot that has to do with how do you do it? How do you manage being a mom of four? And my kids, pre-Rona, my kids were busy. I had two in cheer. My son loved his, he had, I had to take him to speech therapy. So all my kids, we all had a lot going on, and I'm running from one track meet from my child in middle school to one in high school, along with having my business. And so a lot of times people are like, I don't have the time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was there. So yes, I get it. And I am just busy as every other mom, every other woman. But I realize how important I am. And I realize if I'm going to be that good mom that I so wanted to be, I wasn't truly being it because I was tired. I was irritable. And so I was snappy. I would snap on my kids over the smallest stuff. Why? Because I was tired. I wasn't looking out for me. And I'm just like, don't nobody ever think about me. Well, nobody should. I need to think about me. I need to care for me. I need to provide for me. And so it's like once you learn that you have to come first, there is no way you can take care of anybody else if you're not taking care of you first. And
I
once I
love
realized
that.
that, it was like, okay, I need to slot out time for myself. And that required me waking my butt up early. But again, I was worth that time because it kept me grounded. It set my day off perfectly to be able to say, okay, I got this, and a new, but I'm going to make sure that I carve time for myself every single day. And so a lot of times people wonder, how do you do it? It's about making time for yourself and realizing how valuable you are. But like I said, also realizing there's the only way I'm going to be there for anybody else is to be there for myself first. And I really didn't realize that. I never really, because like I see my mom, she always, that's all, that generational stuff. It just passed all the way down. And I'm like, no more. It's time for generational blessings.
Yes,
No generational curses, none of that. We got to change the script. We got to change all of the narratives and make a new journey for the kids, for my kids coming down.
absolutely. We think about traditions in the form of cultural traditions and religious practices, and we don't think about how sometimes we take on the traditions of self-sacrifice and martyrdom and feeling like there's a prize for burning ourselves out. And so we have to make a decision to break the cycle, to break the pattern, to try something different. So Seth has a question here. I'm thinking it's about that time when we opened it up for Q&A. So Seth says, anything you would have done differently? Miss Alisha, go ahead.
Differently in what capacity?
Ooh. I mean, that's a good follow-up, but I guess the first capacity that comes to mind, if you're thinking about your fitness journey, maybe, is there anything you would have done differently on your journey to fitness or on your journey from corporate into entrepreneurship or on your journey to, freedom and time freedom where you are? Anything you would have done differently?
I will say the only thing that comes to mind immediately is like just not doing it sooner. You know what I mean? It's like just there are so many opportunities, and I guess timing is everything, right? But it's just like that's the only thing where I'm like, man, it would have been nice if I would have gotten to the point sooner, because there were, like you said, there was so much self-sacrifice that was just so unnecessary. That it's just like if I could have had the ability to learn to put me first so much sooner than I did, I could have saved myself a lot of drama, and a lot of and see, for me, like my joints, if I get overly stressed, my joints flare up, like my sciatica. And so just knowing how stress affects your body, and like I said, a lot of that having to do with not making time for myself and just burning the candle at both ends, as people say. That's the one thing I can think of as far as doing differently.
Mm, beautiful.
Yeah.
What other questions do we have for myself or for Miss Alisha? I see a couple new people joining. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. I just pressed something by accident. My bad. Okay. So, I mean, while we were here, I just think it's really important to think about like knowing what you know now about the importance of self-care, about the importance of intentionality, about the importance of listening to yourself first. What is some guidance that you would offer to someone who is on the fence right now?
As far as like the health piece of it.
Yes. Oh, Tamara has a question too, so we'll ask that afterward. But
Oh, I didn't got thrown off. I'm sorry. So what was the initial question? I'm sorry.
um, that moment when we both get distracted. This is why intentionality is important.
Yeah.
Fuck it. You know what? That clearly means it was not important. Let's go ahead and go with Tamara's question. Then when my question comes back to me, I will ask you. But
Okay.
Tamara asked, hey bestie. She said, what was the hardest thing for you to unlearn? What was the hardest thing for you to unlearn?
To put myself first, to be perfectly honest, as far as putting everyone else ahead of me, and you help everybody out and be there for everyone else. That was the biggest thing for me, is to say, no, the only way that I can be 100% Alisha is to take time for me. And it's so easy because I'm that one where I always want to save the world. I want to help everybody out. And that was the one thing where I was just like, Adama just smacked me right in my forehead. And because I was like, I'm always trying to help people out and give suggestions, and you were like, but you basically making them think that they can't make decisions on their own. Did they ask you for that? And I'm like, oh well, no. So always feeling like I got to save the world when nobody asked for my help. So it's just like, I know that's a long-winded answer, but just to say, one, just unlearning the fact that yes, people need me, but I need me first. And understanding that yes, I always want to help, but if it's unsolicited, just keep my mouth shut and be there to support. And if they need me, they know where to find me. They know to ask me, but I'm just gonna listen.
Mm,
Wait to see if I'm needed.
for real, for real. Oh, Shells is on. Hey, lady.
Hey.
So Shells is asking, she said, I think you asked, oh, what was the first step for someone who wants to start the fitness journey? Yes. So something along the lines of, for someone that is just starting this journey, what would be your guidance? For someone that knows that it is time to make a change in their fitness, in
Mhm.
their physical and mental health, what would you suggest as their starting point?
I think a lot of it is let's chat, let's talk it out, let's figure out what's holding you back, what are you apprehensive about. Sometimes people are a little intimidated off of the workouts, and I get it. Some people may not even physically be able to move, but also know that there's a nutrition piece of it, because they always say you can't outwork a bad diet. So it's like you can do all the working out you want, but you may not see results if you eating all of this junk food and not having the balance that you need. So
Mm,
it's a lot of, let's start out with the nutritional piece. Let's help you figure out how to get your nutritional, aspect in order. Do you need something more flexible? Do you need something more structured? And go from there and ease into it. It's something where I'm like, give it a try at least for 30 days. Let's
mm,
see how we can work together and just give yourself a try. Trust
mm.
yourself enough to say, I know I need this. I know I want this. And yes, it's scary, but again, there's no change if you don't step out of your comfort zone. And it's
Yeah.
like, if it worked for me, trust me, I know it can work for you. If it worked for me, who had all of this stuff on my plate, all of this stuff that I had to do, there is time. You are worth the time. You are valuable. And it's all about getting your heart healthy. And that's the other part. It's like taking care of your temple, taking care of your heart, loving who you are. That's just the first step to understanding, like, I'm worth this. I'm worth this investment. I'm worth at least giving it a try for 30 days. Just give it a try for a month.
I love that. I love what you said about loving who you are. There is not a single area of your life that will not be improved with a healthy dose of self-love. There's not a single area of your life that will not be enhanced by you deciding that you're worth it, deciding that you are worthy of whatever you desire, deciding that you deserve love and attention and respect and care that you give to everybody else. So whether you're talking physical fitness, mental health, career growth, whatever you are looking to enhance or improve, you
Mm-hmm.
cannot outperform a shitty self concept. You
Exactly.
cannot do better than what you believe you're worthy of. So whatever you think you want, it starts by deciding that you're worthy of it.
Yep. And I always say, whether you can or you can't, you're right.
Right. And that's it.
It's up to you.
It's about it. I named the program Decide to Succeed because there are a number of decisions that need to be made along the way to get what you want.
Exactly.
I created the time freedom and the life I have now one decision at a time. I
Mm-hmm.
had to decide that I was worthy of having what I want. I had to decide that I was done with the bullshit. I had to decide that I was not available for burnout and depletion. I had to decide that other people had permission not to get it. I had to decide what I wanted my life and my days to look like. It was a series of decisions, but the very first decision was, I'm worthy of better than this shit. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So, like, if you are not believing that you deserve it, all the strategy in the world is not going to help. The best coaches in the world are not going to help. There has to be a decision and an intention set. And then you need to be willing to design your life to honor that decision.
Exactly. Because I mean, I was tired all the time. I was dragging, the stuff because the older you get, look, sis, the older you get, that weight is not going to come off as easily as you do. And I got to the point to where I said, enough is enough. And that's the thing. You have to get to that point to say, it does not matter what it takes. I am willing to do it no matter how hard. Did I stumble? Heck yeah. Were there days where I should have worked out and I didn't? Were there days that I ate something longer than I should have? Yes, but I still saw results. Why? Because I said, this is just a hiccup and I'm going to keep going, because
Yeah.
life is going to happen, but it's all about how you react. And you either going to let life take you down, or you going to say, no, I'm going to keep on moving and I'm going to keep on pushing. And it is. So it takes a person to be determined. And that's why I say determined, dedicated, because it's like you have to be to the point to where you're like, I am ready. Yes, I'm scared, but I am ready and I'm willing to do whatever it takes, because I'm ready for the change. I'm ready to put first. I'm ready to love every part of my body, every curve, every dimple, everything. And knowing that even if all I do is lose 10 pounds, my heart is healthier. Even though I may not have the shape that I want yet, I love myself. I'm mentally in a better space. There's so much more to just working out. It's all about just loving who you are and embracing that you have a purpose. You are here for a reason. And the sooner that you start working on yourself mentally and physically, the sooner you can get off all of that extra baggage and truly to figure out what is it that I'm supposed to be. And a lot of times when you're not healthy and you're not taking care of yourself, you have no way of really being clear and open to all that God is providing. Like there's all of these, he provides so many clues that we don't even recognize because it's so bogged down in excess weight mentally, physically, emotionally. And it's all about releasing it and letting it go. And I'm telling you, workout is the best stress reliever ever. And then when you add on loving yourself and eating better, can't nobody tell you nothing.
I know that's right. Now, I know we've thrown around the term loving yourself and self-love. Now, for the skeptics and the people that need us to really break it down, like it's so easy with this language to use all the abstract, like cute in the air shit. Let's break it down. What exactly does self-love mean to you, and what does it look like in practice?
For me, self-love is forgiving myself. Because see, a lot of times people, they forgive other people, but they don't forgive themselves. It was about forgiving myself because we all have made choices that we would have wished we never would have. So
Oh, God.
forgiving
Yeah,
others.
facts.
uh,
I said facts.
right. Forgiving others, realizing that again, I have a purpose. We are all on this earth for a reason. And truly getting to that point to say, I'm going to figure out what it is. For me, I just realized it 2 years ago, but it was because I did the work to say, to get out of my comfort zone, to be uncomfortable, because it's not this journey mentally, physically, spiritually. It is not fun all the time. It is not easy, but doing the work to say, I am worth it. To me, that is all about self-love and truly digging into personal development. Y'all, it is not foo-foo. It is not. I knew nothing about personal development until I got into health and fitness. And that is where the healing truly began. So start reading, understanding that there is more to life than just your everyday, autopilot. Because that's what I was. I was in this autopilot mode. So
Yeah.
taking the moment to step out of just this everyday routine and making time to, like I said, forgive yourself, forgive others, and really do the work of digging into understanding, why am I the way that I am? What is it about me that I love? What is it about me that I need to change? And doing the work to get to that point to say, I truly love myself. I forgive myself, and I'm ready to move forward and not allow what's behind me to affect me anymore, because either way it's not going to matter. You can have a good narrative or you can have a bad one. You can choose. Like I said, I chose to say, to take my situation with my father, I chose to take the good stuff, because there's two different stories you can tell yourself. I chose to tell myself the stories of what he gave to me versus what he didn't, and all of that work is what I call self-love and loving myself and investing in myself.
Yes. We have to emphasize over and over again, coaching with me or with anybody really is not always going to be easy. It's not always going to feel great, right? But it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Nothing feels better than knowing that you belong to yourself. I stand by that. I really mean it.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I truly, nothing in life could feel better than knowing that my time belongs to me and that I make the decisions about how to move forward in my life and that I am the ultimate authority in my life. And I had to make a number of different decisions along the way in order to make that happen. And so seeing that passed on to you, seeing your conviction and your clarity and your confidence and the way you just own the decisions that you're making and the work that you want to do truly, truly, truly touches me and moves me. And I really appreciate you for that. I appreciate you trusting me. I appreciate you jumping out there. I just appreciate you being willing, because this shit is not always fun.
No, it's not. But it's so worth it. It is so worth it at the end. It's like, I would have never thought that I would have changed so much in 6 weeks. I would have never,
Mhm.
I knew that there was going to be change, but I would have never imagined this newer version of me. I would have never thought that it would have been to this extent, to where I am as confident. I was always confident in a way, but just to be just 100% clear on what it is that I want to do,
Yes.
and to be unapologetic about it, know that I do have purpose and I am going to fulfill that purpose. And I am okay with not knowing, because I'm that type where I'm like, I need to know ABC all the way through Z, but being okay with, I'm going to go from A to B, and I know that God will reveal my C, and he will continue to give me the next step, and not be so concerned with the whole picture coming to me all at once. And
Yes.
the best for me, that's been the best thing that has helped me to just be able to just say, I let go. I trust enough to let go and know that it's all going to come to me when it's supposed to.
Mm. Yes. 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 Rashida said bangs church tambourine. Girl, go ahead. I love it. So as we are closing out, is there anything else that you want to share? Do you have any questions for me? Is there anything that you want to just re-emphasize for the people that are watching?
Just love on you, sis. Like, put you first. I can't say that enough, because like I said, I have put my babies first. When I was married, I put my husband first. I put everyone ahead of me, and was wondering why I was the one so irritated and depressed and annoyed. And it was all because I didn't choose me first. And it's like, you can't expect somebody to put you first if you're not putting you first. And
Mm.
that was the biggest thing that I had to realize, is that I have to put me first. I have to take care of me, and then everyone else will be taken care of. And in doing that, I'm allowing kids to see the importance of putting themselves first and taking care of themselves first. So
Yes.
again, creating a new pattern. And so it's just like, so for all of you moms out there, just know, like, your babies are watching nonstop. And I know you know it, but just to reiterate, and it's time for you to say, I'm going to make a different path. I'm going to create a different journey, a different, situation for my kids that I didn't have, because it's like, you can be that, just that one little thing that's needed to change the trajectory of your life and everybody else's life that's around you.
Yes. My baby Shanice is on. I did not even see her. Hey, boo. She said, you first with no guilt. That part. Guilt
Exactly.
kills so many dreams. Guilt is such an, it's a wasted emotion. I'm going to
It,
go ahead and say that. We
it,
feel guilt and treat that as action. All the guilt in the world is not going to get anything done. So stop getting in your own way, worrying about what you think you've done wrong when you're not. You think it's wrong because of rules you made up. So you get
it,
to write new rules and stop feeling guilty and start working in your purpose and start stepping up your leadership and do what the fuck you're here to do. Like,
that's, yes, that's why I
you,
love you.
yeah, like you could feel guilty or you could do the work that you're called to do. And one of them is a much better use of your time and energy.
Exactly.
Speaking of time, Instagram is about to cut us off in
Okay.
like a couple minutes. But I thank you so much thank you for the Heart Showers family. I thank you so much, Alisha, for being here, for joining me today, for talking, for sharing your goals and your purpose and your energy and your expertise. I thank you for being a client, for just trusting me on this process.
Thank you.
And everybody that had a chance to watch, thank you so much. If you walked in late, go ahead and watch this baby again on the IGTV. And if you know someone that would benefit from it, go ahead and share. And again, if you are looking for the next step on your health and fitness journey, go on ahead and send Alisha a nice little DM. She'll be waiting for you.
I'm here, sis.
So thank you. Thank you. Have a beautiful week on purpose. And I will see everyone next Tuesday at 6.
Bye.
Bye.